morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, joining you on a glorious day here at Belmont Park. It's a little quiet right now. It feels quiet.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
It's almost too quiet.
Yeah, it's
for
weird.
us.
I was here yesterday for the. We did a show for a number of racetracks around the country, and it was late and it was quiet. But we're racing today. We're in action, fast and firm. Only one scratch that wasn't an MTO or an AE. That was a part of the entry in one of the races today. So we're pretty much intact for what was expected to be run. Head over to Naira Bets. Have a new Belmont Stakes promotion.
We do.
Use the promo code Belmont25. Guess that would be whatever that name is, that horse that won last year.
That would be Essential Quality.
Yeah, he was retired, so I don't really care about him anymore. They needed to get him off the stud, right? Didn't want to race him this year. Get a free $25 bet plus $200 sign-up bonus. Use Belmont25, play through Naira Bets. We have Saturday contest. You have until 5 o'clock today to sign up. $300 buy-in, cash and seat prizes as well. We've got a $10 bonus betting at Golden Gate today. Bet 100 or more at Golden Gate Fields. You must opt in, and you'll get a $10 bonus, win, lose, or draw. And finally, America's Day at the Races. We're on from 1 to 12:30 to 1:30, and then 3 to 5:30 after that on FS2. All right, race number one. Doubt there's too much to say about race number one, and not surprisingly, we both defaulted to. It's actually pronounced Fort.
Yeah.
I mean, Forte isn't. I think it's one of those accepted pronunciations, but I believe the actual accurate pronunciation is one of my father's things. It's like Dower Doer. The Dower, my father always said, was pronounced Doer. It's one of those things that I remember I would have arguments with Victor Mather for when he was at the DRF about pronouncing, like, irregardless, how words get accepted as colloquialisms, even though they aren't real words. But Fort or Forte, this horse is like all turf pedigree. It's kind of weird, right?
Yes.
It's not really much to go on. The dam actually was pretty good on the turf.
6 for 17.
Yeah.
3 losses on the dirt.
Second dam is all turf.
Yeah.
But it's Todd Pletcher. Is this the first Pletcher we've seen at Belmont? This is only the second or third race, so he's got an expensive one at Churchill, I think, today.
Yeah.
In their first race. And this is Rapoli and
Default is the right word, right?
yeah,
Andy?
I mean, you got the one horse that ran that did no running. Well, take a look at Wasabi Boy's work. I like that name, Wasabi Boy.
Well, the
fact that the Jockey Club allowed the dam's name is sort of an embarrassment to the sport. Should change it. But the horse looked pretty good. 21 and a fifth. Sold for $80,000. Dam was a stakes winner. I think she won the Beaumont.
Beaumont. She was
ran
3
like
for 4.
5 times, right?
3 for 4. Yeah.
Was it 4 times? Yeah. Yeah, maybe she ran the 8 bells. Never ran again.
She won 2 stakes races, the Beaumont and
maybe a California race.
I believe so.
Yeah, in her second start or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that horse might be possible. It's sort of a guessing game after that. I did not like the work on Rudy's horse on the bottom.
Okay.
Please, baby. Where do you think that name's from? I have a guess where it's from.
I don't know.
Really? I'm guessing it's from She's Gotta Have It, the Spike Lee movie. Please, baby, please.
Maybe.
It feels like I have to find out, but that's what I thought of when I saw that.
Okay.
It might be from something else. It just
I have no clue.
You've seen She's Gotta Have It,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
It's a great movie. It's actually, it's not his first movie. He has a student film from NYU, which I believe is called Joe's Bed-Stuy. We Do Heads or something. It's a barbershop.
Barbershop movie? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know what
it was
it's
actually
called.
an answer on Jeopardy recently.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty random. All right. Anything else to say about this race?
No.
So, only 4 of the 5 sires, by the way, in this race were trained by Todd Pletcher.
Is that amazing?
How about that?
And the other was trained by his mentor.
No, Bob Baffert trained Lord Nelson. Wasn't Lord Nelson the horse that Chad beat with March at the Bayshore?
I had Lord Carson in my head for some reason. That was.
I don't think Lord Carson's
still with us.
Still
I would agree with
engaged in stallion duties.
I beat Lord Carson here on Labor Day 1995 with Perfect Spiral, Poncho and Pazoo. I hit a pick 3 that ended with Fusici Pegasus.
He still has the money, too. It's
no, I don't,
amazing.
actually. The money's
Lord
gone.
Carson. If you want to borrow it, it's a little iffy. Race number 2. So I guess the question in race number 2 is whether or not the run can continue for this horse. It's all relevant. He's been good in his last few starts, and I'm not wildly against him, but I never quite trust this horse.
No, he's hard to trust, but he's in fine form. I mean, and he's going to be the controlling speed again.
One would think.
Well,
He's pretty quick.
You know, he's pretty quick, and the 7 furlong distance is the one he was successful at last time. Easy to Bless came back and beat the girls in the same. Essentially,
But she was
the same
not. She was not
condition.
impressive.
She wasn't, but she got the job done.
I wouldn't want to bet him based on her
that.
coming back and winning.
Well, no,
last
you're
time.
betting him based on his recent form and the fact that he has a plethora of races that would just decimate. I mean, you look at the first 5, the inside 5 runners, the entry 2, 3, and 4, all have only won 3 times, and they've all kept the condition claiming company. So Glory Road's the only horse that's out of those conditioned races, and
well, that's actually not true. What about Full Court Press?
he won the starter.
Right,
Oh,
but
he
he's
won
a
the.
novice,
He
so
won.
he's won 3 lifetime. He's won 3 lifetime. I like Full Court Press in here.
To be straight 3-year-olds.
I thought Full Court Press got into great form after Horacio De Paz claimed him. He won that race surprisingly at Saratoga, and he came back with a very solid effort behind Will Sing for Wine, who I don't think has run back since that race for Bill Mott. Then he came back, and he was in a tough spot in his next start, and then last time going 2 turns, he's cutting back a little bit here. I just thought he was sort of an interesting alternative who has the back races and would be a better price. I don't want to take this horse, Glory Road. I mean, if you didn't bet Glory Road last time, you really missed the boat. And he also won during that period, the first week or so, when almost every single horse the notice ran off the screen. I think they were 6 for 8. And they haven't won since then. Now, I think,
for 8 or 9 since,
right,
yeah.
Right, yeah. Sounds like 0 for 9, I think, because it's 6 for 17. And I'm almost sure it was 6 for 8. They have wrestlers. They haven't come back, and I'm interested to see how these horses do when they come back for the notice, because they had horses that ran huge in those races, and you have to ask yourself, how confident you are that that's going to happen again. Obviously, he ran big last time. He also got a pace to close into, but he ran, and it was during their big run. We'll see. I'm going to try to beat the both of them with Full Court Press.
Okay.
That's nice to have that in your ear. Race number 3. If you could please clear the other show from our ear, we'd appreciate it. Race number 3, going 6 furlongs on the turf. So is Frosted Oats finally going to win a race? We'll take a look at Frosted Oats' one turf race. And I'm not sure. I think she would have been better off if some of this race got rained off the turf. She did lose to McCulloch and Consumer Spending. McCulloch, who was second at stake at Churchill recently. And please clear the other show from our ears, please. And Consumer Spending, of course, who won and beat Pizza Bianca, who's making an unfortunate trip in her future. I don't know. I guess this horse is okay. I wasn't thrilled, but he could win. She could win. Where'd you go here?
I went with her. I just think that her turf race was her best race, and now she's cutting back to the sprint. I think turf sprinting is probably what she's going to want to do.
Why?
Well, I just feel like I know she got beat by 2 gorillas. She might. I know she ran into 2 monsters on the turf. I mean, they're both really nice fillies, but I don't know. I feel like the sprinting, I feel like she's going to be a little bit of a better sprinter.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. I think in general, when they run well going long, I think it's a mistake to just assume they'll run well sprinting. She obviously can win this race. I got her second, and she ran against good horses, as you say, but I wouldn't make that assumption. I like the 3 Dream Fly for Wesley Ward coming in here. This horse has a ton of pedigree. There's a ton of turf for this horse, and a horse that obviously disappointed while getting bet in the first 2 starts. But I don't know. I found a stat for Wesley Ward. This is 8 to 16-month layoffs, so roughly around a year. Coming back in turf sprints, he's got very, very strong stats. Let's see for Francisco to put that up. Have they cleared our ears yet with this thing?
I don't know. I have it out.
Thanks, Francisco. So he's got good numbers with those. It does seem like when Wesley Ward ships them from Keeneland, especially this time of the year, that they seem to run. So I took this one on top.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen her for a year. She came back in the 3 weeks that time against the boys. Yeah, I mean, she has the turf pedigree, some turf pedigree, like you said. She's an American Pharaoh.
What did you like about Assyria? What did you like about Assyria?
No real knock. I thought her turf race last time was good, a race that Mac the PhD kind of walked the dog on the front end. She came back to win. I know she was on the better part of the turf course, but I thought she ran well enough first time turf.
If you think that the winner went slowing the pace, then she ran poorly, right? Because she was behind it and went backwards. I mean, I don't like her last race. She stayed in the best part of the
Well,
track.
no,
I
she
didn't like that
necessarily
race,
went
but-
poorly. I think the other filly just kind of ran away.
But you suggested that the slow pace may have been a
No,
factor
I
for
didn't
her.
say
Wouldn't
that.
it have helped
no,
this
no,
area?
I said she was in. No, my point was she was inside, and it seemed like you wanted to be inside on the turf course.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
I don't think the pace was that slow. So I don't. She's not. I poured the other Christophe Clement horse. I like when Christophe cuts horses back. I know this horse has been a bit of a money burner, Bally Bell. But we'll take a look. I got a stat for Christophe. Maidens cutting back from routes to 6 furlongs specifically. He's 8 for 17. Now, obviously, you look at it; those were 9 to 5 shots that were winning, and this horse is going to be a bigger price. But still, this horse has burned some money. But I wonder if sprinting will end up being better for this one. But I'm going to try Dreamfly. You are going to try Forced Oats, who I'm guessing is the morning line favorite. I have my program right here. It's close. Well, he's got Bally Bell the favorite actually at 5 to 2.
Really?
I think Frosted Oats is going to be favored,
I do too.
but it's close. It's close. All right, he's got them all close in odds. Race number 4. So in race number 4, take a look at Baba.
You know I couldn't resist first time Rudy.
Well, my problem with Baba was that Baba was on a gold rail last time at a big inside speed track and still lost. The positive, obviously, is the switch to Rudy.
Yeah. And that was enough for me. Jose Gomez climbs aboard. Not that Trevor did anything wrong last time, but she's going to be the speed from the rail, and I would imagine Rudy's going to get her to improve a little bit. He usually does. And I think that's enough.
You don't think New York Banker is going to be aggressive in here?
Well, I guess she'll be aggressive, but I do believe that Baba will control from inside.
Okay, I thought New York Banker could sit outside of her, be right on top of her. I thought she put some pressure on her. Baba's obviously pretty logical in her. I figured she'd be a super short price. Didn't want to take her on top, though obviously I don't disagree. She can win. I think New York Banker is another one of these Noda horses that just completely exploded last time out. See how that horse does coming back. So you've got 2 in the first 4 races to judge by. I'm interested in Holiday Jazz in here. I thought she was a little bit interesting at a price if you're looking for an alternative. The first time when she won for Jamie Begg on the dirt, obviously it was a terrible field. But she won off and won fairly easily, and she probably have to improve a bit on that. She's claimed by Dave Duggan. He tried to go along with her last time out. She wasn't on the rail. She was on the rail, which is probably the best place to be. But I wonder if maybe she didn't want to go that far. I like her on the cutback, and I thought she was kind of an interesting sort of new face to a crew that, frankly, I'm just sick of looking at.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're going, I don't prefer her, but if
Clearly.
you're going
Clearly
to,
you don't.
Clearly. But yes, if I don't disagree with the notion that maybe it's time to move on from some of these horses that keep banging their head in this condition and find a fresh face.
But Barbara might be the other one you might want if you want to do that. Obviously, Peter Walder has done well, or he did well shipping up. But has he won at Belmont? Yeah, he
One
won with the
race.
same horse, right?
Yeah.
That horse won back. His horses have been live. She's not much
Salsa.
horse, though. But I suppose she could improve for him. He's 5 for 50, by the way, with trainer switches on the dirt. It's got a positive ROI because the horse paid $134. Without that horse, it would have been a 51-cent ROI.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's 5 for 50. Not a big move. And I figure with IRAD, the horse might take some money as well. Race number 5. We'll take a break after race number 5. Thought this was an interesting race number 5. We'll take a look at Sassy Melissa, who I know you liked last time. I know she's meeting tougher company, and she got an absolutely perfect trip last time, but I wouldn't discount her chances of winning right back. She might just be improved.
Well, it was everything you said, though, right, Andy? She got a great trip. She had some recency on most of her rivals last time, and she was able to get the job. She can win, but I just thought there was some better alternatives in here. I thought there was just I do feel the quality of this field's a little bit better.
Okay, who'd you take?
I went to Mischievous Dream.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah.
Why do you like her?
She just makes sense. I think her better races are the sprint races, and I know that the first 2 races of her. Well, I don't. I think the first 2 races of her career are 2-year-old races. She got the job done, and then she ran against Toby's Heart stakes winner, Joy's Rockets a stakes winner on all 3 surfaces, and Amanzi and Pillow came back after that race to beat Boys in the Speakeasy in California.
She did
before
run
the
a
British
faster
Cup.
figure shortly thereafter, going long though.
She did, but her only other sprint race was off was on a yielding course here last summer. It was her fastest fig going 7.
Well, she also ran very well in that race because that was a completely paceless race where Screaming By was able to walk on the front end. That's one of the reasons I liked her because I thought she ran particularly well in there.
I think she's another one. I think she's going to want less ground, and I think this is going to be.
She's the 5-2 favorite?
Yeah.
Not for me. No, I would never have picked
You
her.
didn't think she'd be favored in here?
I hadn't given it much thought, obviously.
I thought it would be her or the 2, and David has no. Yeah. See, Sassy Melissa, I like Sassy. Like you said, I liked her last time, but I just feel like she was that was as opportunistic a victory as you're going to find.
You don't like Get the Candy to maybe wire the field?
What's Violent Point going to do? Isn't Violent Point going to try and show some speed?
She can try.
I would imagine she's going to try and put some pressure on.
She's not that fast. But I prefer Get the Candy. I think that she's the speed. I probably got a 1-4 if I had looked at the morning line, which was negligence on my part. I thought Get the Candy was a threat.
I'm not surprised she's favored.
Rossio. Rossio won in this trainer switch the other day.
Yeah.
The sort of logical horse. What about Guardian Moon? Can that horse run anymore?
We'll find out today, right? I mean, you want to talk about having a perfect trip last time. She stunk. She did no running last time.
Yeah,
I'm
not saying she had a perfect trip, but she had a good trip. I agree. She wasn't good.
Yeah.
I think the rail was pretty good, but the winner was that Todd Pletcher horse. No, she was bad. I don't disagree. And I'm beginning to wonder if she was okay last year and she just had whatever issues caused the layoffs. But she is second off a layoff. We'll see if Jorge Abreu has been struggling.
Well, those races wasn't even like it was the 2-year-old race and then
last April.
Yeah. Last April, the one race.
Well, the 2-year-old race wasn't very good. It was last April's race where she ran. They kind of knew she was going to run, and she did. We'll see.
She was favored in that race. It was like a wide open field. She was favored and she galloped.
I'm going to use the 1 and 4 primarily. I might use the 5 a little bit. Race number 6 after a quick break. We'll be right back.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Race number 6, kicking off the late pick 4 here. You know what? I've had enough of Stone Creator.
As have I.
Here's her last race. I didn't think she really had a major excuse. The horse should beat her. I know she was off the claim for Jeffrey Englehart, who at that point was still on a massive run. She wasn't on the rail, which may have been a good place to be. I don't think it was a big bias, but it might have been a slight edge to the rail. I don't know. She's just wearing me out, kind of. You know?
I can't do it again.
Yeah.
I can't do it
She's
again.
the
I
horse
have
to
to
beat,
imagine what is she on the morning line, 4 to 5?
Oh, I doubt she's that short. Is she? 4 to 5? Really? Let me look. I doubt
8
she's
to 5.
that short.
6 to 5. She's 6 to 5. Yeah, I mean, I really wonder if she wants to go this far. I know her fastest fig was the mile race, but, I mean, after last time, and I know it was a mile on the 16th, and she's cutting back to the mile. You know, she ran into Yo Cuz when it was the mile, and Yo Cuz was good, and again,
Yo
really
Cuz was very
opportunistic
lucky
trips.
to be there, yeah.
But do we really know?
I don't know if she was
think
good.
she wants to go this far?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm starting to think no.
Well, why do you think your horse Galena wants to go this
So
far?
I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I pulled an Andy. I guessed I wanted to take somebody against her, and I was between Gringotts and Galena, and I just figured that you would take Gringotts. It was just a gut feeling I had, so I took Galena. Galena's gotten good. Now, I know she's gotten good on wet tracks.
Right. Normally, this would be a horse that you would be against because they're a good racer on wet tracks.
Absolutely. But they were completely different wet tracks. Completely different. And she still made up a good amount of ground. If you think like I do that Stone Creator really doesn't want to go this far, but imagine with the blinkers on, she's going to be on the front end today. If you think she's going to come back to you, like I do believe she's going to, Galena's going to have some pace to run into, and I went with her. I almost picked the race 4-3, but if Stone Creator is going to get a mile, I think it'll be against a horse in Gringotts who's stepping up in class and a horse in Galena who might be a wet track horse. So I didn't want to be that foolish.
Galena's running figures that are comparable in her races. And we'll take a look at her last race. I think we'll see about last 3/8 of it. She should have won last time. This was really just
Pretty good, you mean?
Yeah, just an awful ride she got. She's a horse that's supposed to be forward. She's actually got the speed to be towards the front. She found herself back in last, and as you pick her up, she's between horses. I'm trying to find where she is. There's between horses. Right there, that horse gets in her way. And this is a horse that she's always searching for a path, and she wants to get out here. She can't get out. And it's like she had Horsey. She wants to get out here, but there's nowhere to go, and she ends up ducking back inside of horses as they drifted out. She should have won last time, and she would have won with a figure that would have made her very competitive in here. We'll see. It is sometimes hard claiming from lower percentage outfits. They sometimes don't come back for different trainers. I thought she was a smart claim last time out. She's been in great form. It's not going to hurt to get Jose Gomez on her. And I thought she was the right one. I went 3-5-4. You went 4-5-3. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. See what happens. I didn't really see anybody else I could use in here.
Me either.
Race number 7. Race number 7. What did you do in race number 7?
I went to Ginsu Warrior. Is it Jinsu or is it Ginsu?
I don't know, but I'm dying to hear why you went to this horse.
I like this horse on the cutback. I thought this horse's best race before the turf race last time was the debut, going short. And I like this horse cutting back in turf sprinting. Ran against much better last time. High Tide and Hilliard. Much better than what he's facing today.
This horse was atrocious last time.
I am well aware, but he's cutting back, and I just don't think he wants to go that far. I know he broke his maiden going the mile at Indiana Grand, but, that was, as a 2-year-old, he was life and death that day. I don't think he wanted to go to the mile that day. I mean, they came home in 28 and change. So I think this horse is going to be better cutting back. I think this horse is better on the turf. I like the tightener going long last time. The 2 turns at Aqueduct now cuts back to the turf sprint today.
Cutbacks never worked, though.
Well, I mean, in theory, they don't work, but for a horse that probably doesn't want to go that far.
If he's 20-1, have at it.
He's 6-1.
Okay, I'd love to
How
book.
high
I'd
can
like
he
to
be-
book.
how high can he
I'd
be
like
in
to
this
book
field, then?
$500 on him at 6-1 in this race. I don't know. He's impossible in here. Okay. I mean, I think that he's an unfortunate case of a horse for people that bet him that got a 71 buyer, so it looks like he really improved in the turf, and actually he didn't. He just managed to get.
He had no chance against those horses.
He was awful. He was awful. I bet him. He had a perfect trip from Javier, and he had 1 gear, reverse. Listen,
Okay.
I think Tom knows he has turf pedigree. That's why he claimed him, and he wants to try him in a sprint. And I don't blame him for trying him in a sprint. That's fine. And good luck. I listen, if this horse wins, I'm going to lose, and I'll be glad you'll win because I couldn't have this horse in a million years.
Okay.
I want to go back to Cousin Andrew's last turf race, because he did have significant trouble, and Linda left him in that dirt race last time out, and she comes right back to running the turf. I mean, he's pretty logical off of this race. He had significant traffic trouble in this race. He's buried behind horses, sort of standing up a little bit on him right now, right? Trying to get through. Is that in with like the white and blue cap?
Yes.
I mean, he wants to run over horses here. If he'd ever been able to get the outside, he probably would have won this race with an 80 or so buyer.
Even here, and then when he gets his ground, it's just way, way too late in the game.
He seems perfectly logical to me in here. Did you have him in the mix?
I'm third, yeah.
Okay, who'd you have second?
I went to Jewelstone. Drop down, blinkers go back on. Another horse who just ran against so much better last time,
He
right?
was awful in there. I mean, I put him in the mix too, but he did not run a step in that race. And I think it's tricky because running against better makes you look better. And I think it sucks you in when, in fact, the horses did no running. And I think that's the case with both the 2 and 9. But I gave Jewelstone. I was surprised that Mike and Kirk decided to run him short again. We'll see.
Well, I also don't think they're going to run away from him like they did last time. They went fast early, and that just doesn't look like it's going to be the case here. I just think he was left with way. I just think he ran against much better and was left with way too much to do.
Okay. I picked Giramonte on top for Leah. We'll take a look at Giramonte's last turf race, and this was after a succession of good races, solid races that would give him a shot here. So he breaks about a length slow in this race. He's the number 4, and it's just a nightmare for Saez. He's got that pink cap. He's right outside, 3 off the rail. And sort of interestingly enough, they just wrote off-court start in the chart, and they seem to have missed that this horse, you're going to see Luis have to almost pull him up right here Right there, he had to steady him back, and it actually gets worse from here. Right there, he's steadying. He has no spot to go into. He can't go. You see him standing up in the horse. I mean, this is a complete disaster, and it probably all happens. And I think he's going to steady one more time right in here, as a matter of fact. It all happens because he didn't break. And if he had broken, he'd be fine. He was entered recently, and it got rained off. I think he gets back to those turf races. He's very dangerous, and I don't know what price he is.
6 to 1.
Yeah. I mean, he's the same price in the morning line as the 2, and he's got races that can actually win this, that he's run sprinting. I'm also scared to blame the booze. Wesley Ward shipping in with these horses this time of year. These horses tend to run for him, and you start to look at him. He's kind of a turf-man horse. The only time he turf sprinted was chasing Golden Pal in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. He's one of these Wesley Ward horses that runs once a year. But then again, are you going to be surprised when this horse gets bet today?
No.
And you say there's not much pace.
Right.
He's not the speed, but will you be surprised when he ends up being the speed and wires the field?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I think
not.
he's very dangerous. I'm 5-6s and a little 3 in this race primarily. We disagree in race number 7. Race number 8. I had this race as somewhat of a coin flip. I saw you pick the 7, so I went to the other one in here between the 5. And I'm just tired of the horses. I know Betsy Blue has run well in her races. She ran a rare clunker last time. Eloquent Speaker is probably one of the worst purchases of all time off a big bias trip. Fouette seems to be a little scary on the front end. This horse has always been part owned by Lady Shield. I think TNT Stud owned it, and now it finally makes the circuit back to Linda Rice after Asmussen. Forrest Caraway, first time for Todd Pletcher. He doesn't have super numbers off of trainer switches, but is a new face. We'll take a look at the win at Del Mar, going 6 furlongs. I don't know. I just thought the new face in here I would go with, but I'm going to use only 5s and 7s in this race. I'll live and die with them.
Me too. Yeah, this is a good race at Del Mar. This is the sprint. It's only her second victory. And I was partially dreading this moment, having to bring up Princess Noor. A dressed-up Grade 1 winner, but, she ran against Grade 1 winners like Princess Noor and Calypso out there, and I know they're not the toughest.
Was one of them. Princess Noor, I think if you wanted to find a horse to encapsulate the deranged West Coast bias, which, an East Coast, the paranoia, the West Coast paranoia.
Was she 8 to 5 in that Breeders' Cup?
Yeah, she was the
Something
slowest
like
horse in the race. I mean, you
But
could retire on the money you could have booked on her.
What would you want to bet on her in here? You know what I mean?
Oh, I'd book her in here. She'd run. Princess
Book
Noor?
her in here.
She was running.
Okay, now that's an East Coast bias.
No, she was.
Even I wouldn't book her.
She was
in
bad.
Here. Yeah, but
She was bad.
you just kind of said it, Andy. I mean, Betsy Blue's, beating primarily state breds. Even the open company race, Fight on Lucy, Roofies and Time, state breds. State breds ran 1, 2, 3. So
Why do you like Rosa Veloce?
I like Rosa Veloce off the claim. No offense to my arch nemesis Ray Handel. I like her off the claim, and I think she's supposed to get the trip off of Fouette, isn't she? She's supposed to get the right trip in here. I would imagine.
No.
No?
No, I think Eloquent Speaker's going to go. I think Eloquent Speaker and Fouette will be in front.
Oh,
She'll be sitting
even better.
somewhere 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
I mean, Fouette's
I think
just
the reason
faster.
for me, the reason I like Rosa Veloce in here.
Well, she was 4 wide on when the rail was giant last time.
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't know that.
Of course I knew
you
that.
lost 2 lunches to me betting
Well,
Piece of My Heart
no,
against
there was- I
Dealing
didn't-
Justice, who was on the rail against Dealing Justice being wide.
There was nothing I could do about.
The reason I like her is that she was against the track last time. Whether or not she moves up. I mean, William Morey's off the claim, and the dirt numbers are lousy. He's 10 for 51 with a $1.25 ROI. But I do think she's interesting off the trip last time, and she is in good form.
Yeah, I like her. I like her. And if you think Eloquent Speaker. I put Eloquent Speaker 3rd because I don't know what to do with her. I know she had that perfect trip in the Bank Sting race and even when she won, but I mean, doesn't she aren't those 2 races, actually those 3 races, even if you include the race where she was claimed, I guess that was a little dressed up.
I don't want any part of it. I don't want any part of this horse.
Fair enough.
She wins, I lose.
Fair enough.
I think she'll continue to take some money. I don't think she'll be as high as 6 to 1 in this race.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was 6 to 1, but I would agree
I don't
with that.
think
She
she'll
won't
be as
that
big
high.
as 6 to 1. She was 3 to 5 last time. I think she'll be shorter. Race number 9. What you do in race number 9?
Went to Jet Set. Oh, same
As did
horse.
I. Why do you like this horse?
Half to Marvelous Maud, who's a decent enough
Not that good.
New York Road allowance runner. She's by Freud. I would imagine the other one's by Slumber. This one's more of a sprint pedigree. Dan was 3 for 5. She showed speed on the dirt. Obviously more turf. She gets Lasix for the first time. Jose Gomez and I would imagine she is going to be the controlling speed in here.
What about Bunty Windermere? You think that Dylan's going to rate her?
No, but I don't think she's. You think she's faster? I think.
Yes.
I think Jessica Juliet's going to be. I think she's potentially.
Not if you look at
could be
pace figures,
faster.
she's not. Jessica Juliet was involved in a slow pace last time, to be fair.
Well,
And that was
it
in the
was a
dirt.
slow bunch of horses and a slow.
And I'm not saying she can't be the speed, but I think you're jumping to the conclusion that because she was in front in her last race, she's fast. That wasn't a particularly speedy pace. Bunty Windermere's shown sprint speed in the turf. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if the three's in front of her, but I think to assume she's going to be in front of that one might be a little bit of an assumption. I wouldn't even be surprised to see White Hot go with Jackie Davis in this race.
Maybe.
She's not as fast, but go. We'll take a look at Temperamental's last race. I don't know what to make exactly. Was there a lack of urgency with her, or is she really just not that good? And when you're taking one of the reasons it's hard with horses that are cutting back from routes to sprints, as she was, they just don't have much speed, so they end up sort of lagging in these races. I don't like that after they came back, ran 4 Buyer Points worths, though I think it was fairly
It was a week
quick
later. It
after
was a week
that,
later. Yeah.
But I
If
mean,
you were-
so it's
I'm sorry.
perfectly logical, right?
If you remember, everyone out there, this race here, when Temperamental second, she was the only filly in the 10-horse field that had ever run on the grass. Everybody else was making their grass debut. And she did not get the best trip that day, and her half birthday kind of got loose on the lead, and like Andy said, came back on short rest and ran a little bit worse. Yeah, I mean, I put her in the mix in here, I guess.
You have Moda Morning Grouch second.
Yeah, second time, Linda. Thought the horse ran well enough first time out.
Thought that was a terrible race.
It was a terrible race.
Thought that was a really
It was
terrible
a terrible race.
race.
You have the horse fourth, right? Yeah. I mean, we kind of saw the race the same way.
Linda
here.
can improve. I like Road to Remember, actually. I'm going to use 3s and 12s here, a little too. You know, Road to Remember, you talk about speed in the race. Road to Remember might be might be as fast as anyone. Joel's got to get position. I don't think he's going to be in front, but he's going to have to ride for position with this horse to get his horse out. And I don't know, she's running in maiden special weights against horses that are just better than these. And not running great, but not running terribly. I thought she was kind of interesting. I actually flirted with putting her on top.
And if you think that there's going to be a little bit more speed in here,
Well, I don't think there's going to be a lot of speed, but she's a speed. I'm just saying.
She could be- she could- right,
you
she
seem
could
to think
be
the
in a
three's
good-
going to control. I don't know. You
she
can
could be
assume
in.
that.
She could be in a good spot. She could be in a good. And I don't know about you. I don't want to speak for you, but I worry less when it's a guy like Joel that's going to be able to work out a trip from the outside draw.
Yeah, I don't worry about outside posts in general in turf sprints. You can get your position, but
Yeah.
we'll see if he can get some. Was Sweet Lies a horse you gave much of a look to? I looked at that horse for a while.
I gave the horse a quick look. Yeah.
Just don't like the cutback. And this horse was, it says 3 wide turns. That's not true. This horse was 2 wide in the first turn, was dragged back in there, and was 2 wide angling out to 4 wide. But this horse did not lose a lot of ground in that race. I didn't check Trackus, but I don't think this horse was very wide. I don't know. It feels like Graham is just sort of grasping at straws what to do with this horse, you know?
That's what I felt. It was a dirt sprint, then
really running.
then a turf route, then a dirt mile race.
But it
Yeah.
was December 4th, and I don't want to, convict a horse's career on one race in December on the turf
I
at
agree.
Aqueduct, where
I agree.
I mean, some weird things can happen on
Then
those
he gave
courses.
her one more shot on the dirt. She didn't run well, and he put her away for the grass. I mean, that's the way it kind of looks. But yeah, I mean, do you think does he think it's a jumping off point? You're not going to run after the 2 dirt races. You're not going to run on dirt anymore. So do you give it a jumping off point on the turf, sprinting, and then stretch her back out?
He's
I don't know.
dropping her down. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, he's just trying to find a spot where she can win, is my guess. And in reality, there's no killers in here. I mean, she's kind of the interesting fuzzy, right?
I have the short stat in the DRF has him 1 for 30 in turf sprints.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. He has those very bad numbers stretching out in the turf. I held off a horse of his that was stretching out in the turf to win at Pimlico on the 3rd race on Saturday. Yeah, there was a Jimmy Toner horse that had a rotten trip the time before that held him
You
up
had a
by
good
nose.
trip.
Oh, it was fun, yeah. It's always fun going down there. Yeah, the technical analysis ran very well.
did.
I mean, she obviously had the field over a barrel and cruised along, but that's the best race she's ever run by a lot. It's a weird situation with her. There's so many good these turf fillies, and they're all in Chad's barn. Not that Chad Brown would be afraid to run her against some of his horses for Peter Brandt, but it's not just that they're in Chad's barn. They're good.
They're really good.
There's some significant talent. Oddly enough, I mean, Peter Brandt has a hammerlock for the most part on the filly and mare turf division. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it's kind of like Coolmore when they would have like
Correct.
those killer, when they would
Very similar.
dominate those races. They just has
And one of them is a partnership with
Right.
Kumar, right?
Well, he bought the horse with,
Yeah.
that horse Rogier that they paid $3 million. Everybody made the big deal. I saw some silly comment in the paper. Well, she didn't get the $3 million back. They didn't pay $3 million for her as a racehorse. She's worth, I don't know if she's probably worth $2 million as a broodmare. I mean, I don't know enough to know the pedigree, but winning the Prix de l'Opera, I mean, that's one of the most prestigious filly mare races in Europe on the ARC
The
card.
world.
So.
Yeah.
She's got to be worth every bit of $1.5 million to $2 million as a broodmare.
Right.
So I don't think they paid that much for her racing rights. You know what I mean? It's sort of, you have to keep that in mind. It's not like buying a colt or
For
anything.
for one of the biggest, I mean, you could argue the biggest breeding operation in the world.
Well, Peter
Right.
Brand
And
also
Peter
likes to have
Brand
these
gets in, that's what I
broodmares as
mean.
well.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I expect her to run the New York, which is now a Grade 1. And it's
Yeah.
nice to have a Grade 1 on the Friday before the Belmont.
It is.
9 Grade 1s. And I think that's, that it's an interesting discussion because there was kind of sympathetic whining being done about moving the Triple Crown by parties with their own self-interests directly involved in that. And one of the complaints was the overall card at Pimlico. With all due respect, when you're running $100,000 and $150,000 stakes on a Triple Crown card, you compare to what goes on at Churchill, and you compare what's going on here.
Right.
Well, of course people are going to focus on these
And
races.
everything's
They're
relative.
bigger purses and more important races, and those races have kind of lost some of the relevance because the purses have been shorter.
Correct.
So there are always some things. We love racing because you always whine about a lot of things, and there are some things which are unfortunate. You can't do about weather, certain things, but you kind of make your own bed and then complain
You don't
about it
have anything to do with the weather?
occasionally, but
Twitter
keep
thinks
that,
it's all
keep
about
that
you.
between
Okay,
us.
I'll let you. I will. And
Quite a
everybody else.
Twitter debate about Epicenter and early voting. And I'm going to tell you, I think people misunderstood my impression. People are allowed to put everything they have, whether I agree with them or not. I love the debate. I love the fact that those two horses, and they're good horses, had this race, and there's this huge debate on who the better horse is.
Sure.
And it's a fairly split camp. And, I mean, we haven't really had a lot of huge debates
No, we have not.
between horses at that level lately. And it just makes you so eager to see the two of them square off up in Saratoga,
Where they should square
Yeah,
off,
but I think
right?
that, the idea, you have sort of strong opinions, and they're good horses. I think it's interesting, for all the stuff about Epicenter, he still tied the best figure he's ever run from a buyer standpoint. Early voting ran the best figure he's ever run, a best 3-year-old figure, 105. I think he got a 0 on the thoroughgraphs, which Greg Wolf said to me he thinks Taba got that in the Santa Anita Derby. And listen, if Taba, if they were working backwards from the Travers and they hadn't made the unfortunate decisions they did to run the Derby, I mean, I hope he comes back, and I hope
too.
he's still sound because he's a very, very talented horse. But,
He's a good horse.
the Derby has a way of knocking horses out. You look at
It's a game changer. It's a game changer both ways.
Well, you look at Formulator and you look up when these horses come back or don't come back. Some never come back or come back a long time.
Scary
yeah.
prospect. Yeah.
It's like, it's funny how many maiden races, a tough maiden race, they don't come back. Anyhow, lots more to talk about. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks here as we head towards the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival.
Yes. 13 days away.
You're a man who loves a festival.
You know I am.
Love a festival.
I love any kind of festival, really.
Festival or festival.
I'm a walking party.
You're a human.
walking
You're a human
festival.
festival. Exactly.
Festabile. I'm a festabile.
The blood and guts embodiment of a festival. Head on over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code Belmont25, and we'll give you a $200 sign-up bonus. Match $200 of bets, and we'll give you an extra $25 bet. What else do we have? Francisco.
Contest.
Yes.
Hurry
we have
up. You only got about 28 and a half hours. 29 hours?
4 hours.
What we got?
It's Friday.
No, right, but it's 28 and a half. Oh, it's 4
Yes.
Wow. I'm used to it being Thursday. You make a great point. It's Friday.
No, I
It's
think,
Friday,
I think you
everyone.
made a bad point. I don't think I made a great one. I think you made a bad one. Anyway, head on over. You've got a few hours left. Go to naira.com/contests. Also, we've got $100 bet 100 or more at Golden Gate Fields. I like that, Fields. We'll give you a $10 bonus. Opt in at Naira Bets. And finally, last, perhaps least, 12 to 130 FS2. Greg and Maggie and I are here. Paul is at Churchill. And 3 to 5:30 as well. All right.
All right.
We're done.
See you tomorrow.
I will. I'll see you later.
Can't wait.
See you later, too. Have a wonderful day. Johnny I will be up very, very soon with a reprise of Scratches and Changes. Have a wonderful